Hello everyone, this is lesson 7.3 for 5th grade. It is titled Area Problems, and it's on page 240, 241. I'm going to start by going over, it's almost like a review of what we did in lesson 7.2, but then things get a little tricky when we get to problem 3. So if problems 3, 4, and 5 are the ones giving you an issue, you can go ahead and skip ahead a little bit until you see me working down there. But for starters, I'm going to throw out just a quick key for number 1 here, which is asking us to find the area of this rectangle in square feet. And just a quick reminder, we've really talked about this a lot this year and last. We should know how to find area, or we should know that area equals blank times blank. And those blanks are length times what? Times width. So in order to find the area of something, you're going to multiply the length times the width. Now, if this was just 8 and 5, no problem. We would just say 8 times 5 is 40 and we're done. But of course, these are mixed numbers, so this makes things a little trickier for us. And my advice to you to simplify this for yourselves is to follow what we learned in lesson 7.2, which is to take these two mixed numbers, turn them into fractions, and then just multiply the fractions. That will work for problem 1 and problem 2. I'll give you an example of how to turn 8.5 feet into a fraction, just as a refresher, and then I'll let you do the same for 5.5. So we know from yesterday, or whenever you worked on 7.2, that this whole number basically just means we already have 8 full sets of 2's. Okay, so we have like one full set, another. So 8 full sets of 2 would be like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So that means we already have 16, I want to say 2's, but you call it halves. We have 16 halves, and then we have to add the other half that's hanging out up top. So 8.5 is really equivalent to 17 halves. That is 8 sets of 2, and then one other half that gets added to the end, which gives us 17 halves. So for here, you're going to do 5 sets of 2, and then add the leftover. And what you'll be left with is a multiplication problem, since we're doing length times width. It's going to be 17 halves times whatever this one ends up being. I'll call it the width for now. And that's going to give you your answer, which I'll use a cursive S. That's my go-to. Okay, and remember, when you multiply fractions, it's just multiplying straight across. You might need a calculator, because the 17s, I don't know 17s in my head very well. So if you need to use your computer or a calculator to find 17 times whatever this one ends up being, that's cool. Okay, so that's going to be your strategy for number 1 and 2. Change them to fractions, and then just multiply the fractions across. Let's get to number 3. This is where we're heading into almost uncharted territory. We've talked briefly about tiling, but this, I don't think enough to really make this a review to you. This is going to feel new. So Emerson's helping his parents order tiles for their bathroom floor. The area of their bathroom is 20 square feet. They are using tiles that are 1/3 foot by 1/3 foot. And the question is, how many tiles are needed to cover 1 square foot? So this is a good real life question. Square feet in this instance means basically it's going to be 20 feet one way, 20 feet another, basically 20, 20, 20, 20. Okay, so they're telling us that the tiles we're using are only 1/3 of a foot. So I'm going to draw a visual so you can picture what 1 foot actually looks like, just 1 square foot. So they're telling us just one tile like this. Hopefully this shows up on my screen, looks like it does, is just 1/3 of a foot, which must mean that another tile will be 2/3 of a foot. It's basically a third and then another third. And a third tile would finally get us to 1 full foot. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, that's 3/3, that's a foot. So there's 1 square foot, because that's what we're looking for here. Or excuse me, this is not 1 square foot, it's 1 foot, but we also need to go this way. It's 1 foot here, it also needs to be 1 foot long ways too. So we have a third already. We need to draw another, and another. So a third, a third, a third. So now we have 1 foot this way, 1 foot this way, and I bet you might be able to see the pattern that we'll just need 3/3 going this way too, and 3/3 this way as well. So what you end up doing here is you actually just created a square foot. Because you took these 1/3 tiles and you added them together to make a whole foot. And like I said, a square foot means it has to be a foot this way, it has to be a foot this way, it has to be a foot this way, and it has to be a foot this way. So when you look at problem letter A, when they ask you how many tiles do you need to cover 1 square foot, well, here is 1 square foot, guys. And you can ask yourself, how many tiles did we actually end up making here? Okay. And the follow-up question is going to be just pretty much looking at, is this where they want the fraction? Let's see, what fraction of a square foot is 1 tile? Yeah, so after you answer part A, which is just going to be counting how many tiles we laid down for 1 square foot, now they want to know how much is 1 tile. I'm going to shade in just 1 tile. How much is he worth out of that square foot? And if I can give you a hint, it's going to be a fraction. This is going to be 1 piece out of how many total pieces, guys? This is going to be 1 piece out of how many total in a square foot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1 tile is going to be worth 1/9, 1 out of 9. You also could have just gone 3, 6, 9. Okay, so we found out, here's what we found out so far. We needed, I'm going to come back, I'm going to answer this. By now you should have been able to count that we have 9 tiles in a square foot. So the situation is they don't want to know how many, they're not doing just 1 square foot in their bathroom. The bathroom is actually 20 square feet in this case. So we're going to have to take this square foot, which has 9 tiles in it, and multiply it by how many square feet we actually have. So we're going to take 9 and multiply them by 20. Because we need 20 of these. This is just 1 square foot. They want 20 of them. So we'll have to do this again and again and again and again and again. And I know I have some 5th graders who are like, oh man, just give me the chalkboard and I'll just draw this 20 times. No, not this time. Now we're just going to do some quick multiplication. Remember, you just take this 9, multiply them by each other digit. What is 9 times 0? It's 0. Anything times 0 is 0. And what is 9 times 2? 18. And that's how you're going to find, I guess they wanted their number model up here. Sorry about that. 20 times 9 equals 180. So when you're at Home Depot and they're asking you how many tiles you actually need, sir or ma'am or whatever, and why is a 5th grader buying tiles, you can say, well, I know that these thirds will add up to 1 square foot if I have 9 of them, and I have 20 square feet, so 20 times 9, I need 180 tiles.